The day had been perfect until it wasn't. Claire sat halfway through her book, the tide's hush sinking with her breathing, when a sudden cold spray splashed across her legs and cover-up. She gasped, jerking upright, droplets darkening the fabric. A boy sprinted away, laughter trailing, his plastic bucket swinging like a taunt. She brushed at the wet patches carefully, trying to hold on to her peace. But when she saw him filling the bucket again, grin wide with mischief, her jaw tightened. Claire's calm was about to be tested. That morning she had left her apartment with a pounding headache and a phone full of unanswered emails. Her job at Bellingham Co. had once been tolerable under Mr. Bellingham, but since his son Ethan Jr. took over, it had become suffocating. Meetings stretched endlessly under his nitpicking and impulsive demands, each day leaving her wrung out. By week's end, she needed escape. The beach had always been her sanctuary. She packed her worn paperback, a thermos of iced tea, and her oversized sun hat, then drove the quiet coastal road until the salt air eased her tension. She found a spot far enough from crowds, spread her towel, and sank into her chair. For a blissful half-hour, everything was perfect until a mother and young boy arrived, stopping just feet away despite the open sand. The boy wriggled free from sunscreen duty, dashed to the water, and returned shrieking with a bucket. Claire tried to ignore it, but his stomps and shouts carried over the tide. His mother, meanwhile, pulled out a laptop and typed steadily, eyes never leaving the screen. Claire sipped from her thermos, trying to let the waves drown out the noise. But soon the boy's runs back and forth turned messy. He splashed water onto towels, dug pits, and once soaked his own book. Claire kept glancing toward the mother, waiting for concern. None came. When the boy flung sand that sprayed across Claire's shins, she brushed it away and reminded herself she wasn't here to start a fight. Still, the high-pitched chatter and constant stomping cut through her patience. Then came the final straw. A splash landed across the open page of her book, warping the paper. She closed it slowly, pulse thudding, and looked to the mother. "Excuse me, your son just splashed water on my book. Could you ask him to be more careful?" The woman glanced up briefly, smiled thinly, and said, "He's just excited." Claire pressed, suggesting he play closer to the shoreline, but the woman gave only a vague nod before returning to her screen. Moments later, the boy dragged a stick straight across Claire's towel, leaving sand across her ankle. She bit back her words, scanning for another spot to move, but the beach had already filled. Then a spray of sand landed on her legs, her shirt, even into her thermos. Claire stared at the gritty drink, her cover-up clinging uncomfortably, and finally stood. "Hi, sorry to bother you," she said, keeping steady. "Your son just kicked sand into my drink and all over me. Could he play a little farther away?" The woman leaned back, sunglasses reflecting the sun. "He's just having fun. Kids will be kids." Claire lifted her sandy thermos. This was full a minute ago. Nearby beachgoers glanced over, conversations dipping. The mother gave a brittle smile. "It's a beach. Sand happens." "I'm not asking for quiet, just a little space," Claire replied. The woman's voice sharpened. "I don't need advice on how to take care of my kid." Claire softened her tone. "I'm just asking for consideration." But the woman cut her off, turning back to her laptop. "Then consider moving. There's plenty of beach." Eyes lingered on them, pity and curiosity mixed. Claire returned to her towel, heat rising in her cheeks. The boy continued his noisy games, splashing, stomping, spraying sand across her towel and damp book. She sat frozen, knowing nothing she said would change things. Then a shift. The boy stopped by her things, spotted her larger bucket, and asked politely, "Can I borrow this to make a bigger castle?" His eagerness softened her. She emptied it and handed it over with a smile. "Just be careful not to spill on anyone, okay?" "Thank you," he beamed, running off. For a moment, Claire felt lighter until the mother snapped. "Hey, you don't talk to my son like that." Claire blinked. "I just let him borrow my bucket." "If you've got a problem, talk to me, not him," the woman shot back. Claire considered packing up, but felt exhausted at the thought. She sighed, resigned, until the boy returned with her bucket brimming full. He tripped on his mother's towel, sending the entire load of seawater and sand crashing into her open laptop. The hiss was instant, followed by a sharp pop as the screen went black. The mother's face froze, then twisted into panic. "Liam, what were you thinking?" she screeched, blotting frantically at the dripping keyboard. "I was showing you my castle," he mumbled, confused. "I don't care what you made," she snapped, jabbing the power button desperately. "I might have just lost everything." Her voice cracked between fury and fear as laughter rippled from nearby towels. The older man who had pitied Claire earlier now gave her an approving nod. She leaned back in her chair, lips curling into a small, satisfied smile. "Kids will be kids," she said lightly, just loud enough to carry.